So anyway, he was smoking a cigarette, and he looked over and waved at us and smiled, and we were the only girls there. It was just us three. And then we...
at 9:30.
Yeah, this was at 9:30 in the morning. It's freezing because it's Denver.
It's 25 degrees out.
And then we saw other people, and a bunch of people kept looking at us and, like, laughing at us, and we were like, whatever, we don't care. This is our lives. And then, then we were like, well, maybe we should walk around to the corner to get a better view of the bus, because we couldn't see the bus door. So we went over there, and we were like, oh, we really want to take pictures of the bus, and blah, blah, blah.
Bus driver.
And we saw the bus driver, and when we went over there, the bus driver, like, got off the bus, and he was like, hey, girls, or whatever. And then he, like, Amy went and ran and gave him a hug. He had, like, open arms for a hug for some reason.
It was cold.
And then she was like, will you take a picture with us? He's like, yeah, I'll take it, but I'm cold, so I'll take it, but let's hurry up. And so he took our picture in front of the bus, and that was whatever. And then we were like, oh, thank you, yay. And then we were, like, stepped back some more. And
I mean,
we just,
we could have stopped there, and I would have been happy.
Yeah.
Like,
We were on the corner. Oh, I don't want to be in
Okay, great. We won't put them on there.
I look like shit. We were on the corner, like, next to his butt. Like, kind of next
like
to
on
his
the
butt.
We were right next to his
Yeah.
bus, and so we were like, oh, let's just stand here and,
Where
like,
the sun
at this
was.
time, there
Wait.
were 2 buses.
Yeah, there were
one
2
with
buses.
Justin in it, and one with not.
yes. And so we were basically just waiting to see something. And then
We waited.
we waited. About an hour later, those other girls came.
Yeah.
Maybe an hour and a half later, these 2 other, like, younger teenage girls came, and they were kind of, like, freaking out a little bit. They, like, screamed when a woman said that he was in there. So we were like, oh, no, we don't want to associate with these girls because we don't want to look like crazies, and we don't want Justin to, like, be mad that we're causing a frenzy. So we went back to the car for, like, a few minutes to warm up our toes because they were about to fall off at that point.
Literally.
And then we got out of the car again because these really little kids came, and we were like, oh my gosh, those little kids came, and we're warm now, so let's go back, and Justin will probably definitely come out and say hi to these little kids. And then, so we went back over there, and we were just, like, talking with everybody, and he didn't come out for a long, long time, and we kept seeing, like, Dustin come up to the bus, and he would come in and out, and he would say, he waved from inside the bus, too, like, he waved and smiled, which was surprising for Dustin, and then, we saw Allison come into the bus, and she smiled, and she looked really pretty. And Kenny came in and out from the bus a few times. We also saw Fredo in the morning. He came out, and he looked really sleepy. And then
We yelled his name, but he
we said, Fredo, and we tried not to be, too desperate seeming. But we said, hey, but he seemed kind of, like, tired, not into it. So he, like, kind of ran into the hotel after he got off the bus. And we were like, I was like, well, Fredo was just in there, and that means Justin's in there. Because... come on. So we were all kind of sad that Fredo didn't say hey, but, whatever. And then, but later, this continued on, like, we just were waiting for a long time, and
Forever.
for, like, yeah, we were there, let's see, what time did the Fredo thing happen?
The Fredo, oh gosh.
Like noon.
I called my mom, I can look. I don't know.
About 3 hours later of standing in the cold, Fredo came back onto the bus. He was, like, dressed and showered. He looked really hot. He was wearing, like, a varsity jacket.
And a hat.
He was totally swagged out.
So
and he, like, smiled this time at us. And, I totally forgot a whole part. Okay, never mind. So, go back to, we were waiting out there for a long time with, like, these other girls. And so there were probably about, like, 8 of us?
Yeah.
Probably about 8 of us. And we start hearing this music blaring from the bus. Like, we had to get, like, within probably, like 3 yards to hear it. But we, like, inched a little closer to the bus because we could hear this music. And we heard Justin's voice. And it sounded so angelic.
Flawless.
It sounded flawless. It was, like, a super new song. It was his voice, so pure. It was so intimate and so, like, emotional.
So
it was beautiful. And, like, he kept playing it. He played it, like, probably 3 times in a row, and he played a couple other songs, too. And I think that the one that I love the most is the one that I think he just wrote, that he talked about this morning, that Scooter also talked about. And, yeah, it was just amazing. Like, all of us looked at each other. We were like, oh, my gosh. He's literally playing... He is playing his new music.
Yeah. He's
and,
playing
like,
music for us because he knows we're so goddamn cold.
Yeah, it was so cold, and, like, the fact that he was playing that and we could hear it was just, like, the best thing ever. Like, I could cry.
We started crying.
We all started crying. I had to sit down, honestly, and, like, breathe because I could not believe that I was hearing the songs he has just written, and no one has heard them before, but probably us and Team Bieber. It was amazing.
And the other part was the other little believers that were there. They were so sweet, and one of them took my hand because she saw that I was crying, and she was the sweetest thing ever, and I love believers.
Yes, Madison loves Believers, and also Justin's new music rocks. It's
It
the
was
best thing ever.
amazing.
It's
gonna be so good.
Everything Scooter said this morning is totally true, and I
Everyone
cannot
said.
wait to hear it. Like full blast hear it because he played it throughout the
blasted it.
day. You guys, it was so beautiful. But anyway, so that happened, and that was hard to overcome for a while. And then, Fredo came back out. Oh, after that, I was like, oh, well, I feel like we need to do something. And those other teenage girls, they were like, well, we should write our Twitter names on the bus in the dust, like those one people did. And I was like, oh, let's write him a note. Because I was like, does anyone have paper? So I was like, we could write him a note and say, like, we love your new music. Like, thank you so much. So I wrote it, and I was like, thanks, Justin. What did I say? I was like,
Said, your music
I was like,
is
Justin, your
amazing.
music